Part 4. Okay, so then I remember I was over at your place and the jury came out. They were going to be announced. They were coming out 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock it was. And we're going to listen to the recommendation of the jury.
But before that, we as families, they asked for what our recommendations were too, and we had to submit it before.
Oh, really?
At the end of the inquest, before the jury
Went in session.
In session, yes.
So, 3 years later, recommendation of 2 years. 2 years later, sorry.
Because it was in May of 2009.
No, now we're 3 years later, right?
3 years since January 12, 2008.
Okay.
Yes.
3 years later, how many of those recommendations did the government follow?
I would say anything that didn't cost them any money.
Money? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I guess money is very important.
Even when it comes to the lives
for the
of the
children,
kids?
no.
Yeah.
That was something else that really disturbed me and made me feel like, why have a coroner's inquest when we as the parents after have to push for it? Like, you know, they said that winter tires were going to be on these vehicles. Well, not even the year after. What did we find out? That they put all-season tires on the front of the multifunction activity bus and winter tires in the back, and everybody knows that you don't put combination tires on a bus, but that's what the Department of Education did, you know?
And they're still
And we had to fight for that 4 months last year, and from October, when we found out about the vehicle having all combination tires, until February of 2010.
Yeah, but do you think they say if one person dies, like we had a kid a couple of months ago that was testing and driving at the same time and he died. One person died. Oh my God, they passed a bill. They learned from one life. Here there's 7 lives that were lost in one shot.
Oh, that's because it was the responsibility and the obligation of the Department of Education to keep our children safe. That's the difference between here, the young boy, and here, because the government didn't do it. They didn't keep our children safe.
No.
It was their responsibility. And, you know, it's still to this day, they didn't accept it.
Do you have more faith in government? Do you have any faith at all in government since this tragedy happened?
No, I don't. But I do have faith in Ibongadan, though.
Ibongadan?
Yes, I do. He's the one that did the research, him and his team, and on 15-passenger vans, and he proposed a bill in Ottawa in May of 2010. And still to this day, you know, we're not sure where that's headed, because we spoke to Minister Chuck Straw in September, and we're just waiting on word what they're going to do about the 15-passenger vans, because they're supposed to have done a crashworthiness test and every review on 15-passenger vans. But Yvonne Godin was the one that brought it forward in Ottawa.
Isabelle, to be fair, when you're in the opposition, you could promise the world. When you're in power, you sort of forget what's going on. Did you know that?
Well, you know, I'm sure every citizen across Canada assumes that the government are there to protect the people, and that's their job. And you know, when the facts are there, if they ignore it, it's like putting their heads in the sand like an ostrich, you know, and ignoring what they should be doing, protecting our children. In the case of the 15-passenger vans across Canada, you know, I really feel like I'm a mother. I'm not a company. I'm not an organization. I don't own a multi-million-dollar business. And sometimes I think they protect them more than they do a regular person that takes care of their family and do their best they can, the best we can, you know, with our families. And sometimes I think if the government would just think of individuals that are out there just trying to survive instead of the companies making big money and supporting them more than the people. You know, I think our system could change a lot.
Speaking of companies and the government, what happened a couple of months ago in Nova Scotia?
In Nova Scotia, that was in the end of November. There was a school in Moncton. They hired a private company to take 60 students to Halifax. And this private company did their pre-trip, and they knew about 2 ball tires on their vehicle, and they still put the children on it and went to Halifax. But you know, nobody in New Brunswick noticed that vehicle like that. But when they got into the province of Nova Scotia, they were stopped, and they had to take those tires off and put 2 new tires on.
How come they were stopped in Nova Scotia and not stopped here?
Yeah, they were stopped in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, how come not here?
Well, nobody noticed, I guess.
We don't notice stuff like that here in New Brunswick? We're too passive? Or?
I can't say. I really don't know.
So there were charges laid against a company in Nova Scotia?
In Nova Scotia. But because the charges were laid in Nova Scotia and that they were stopped in Nova Scotia, there's no penalty or nothing under the Motor Vehicle Act, I guess, that they could do against the private company here in New Brunswick. But I guess it's okay to put children in a large bus with ball tires and go out of province.
It's not funny, but I mean...
It's not funny.
No.
It's not.
It's not funny.
They did it to our children. They did it to the 60 students that went to Halifax. And, you know, our province still didn't learn yet. The schools didn't learn yet. The superintendents didn't learn yet. The teachers, the coaches, the volunteers. You know, are they just turning a blind eye and not and just hoping, oh, we'll get home safe, and you know, we'll just worry about the vehicles later, or I just don't know.
If 7 lives would have been lost in Nova Scotia, there would have been, knowing Nova Scotia like I do, there would have been very harsh new rules in the school system.
Yes, because you know, there was 4 hockey teams in 1984. No, there's 4 young players. A hockey team in 1984, and you know, they banned 15-passenger vans way before our boys were killed, and they banned them in Nova Scotia. And here we are, a province next to Nova Scotia, and they never banned them here. But as I educated myself, I found out that the federal government knew about the 15-passenger vans, and they just recommended to all the provinces, do what suits your needs. And they chose, our province chose to use 15-passenger vans instead of using the alternative vehicle, the multifunctionality vehicles that they're using today. There was a choice, but they made a bad choice.
Just finish that one here.